Welcome to this week's live. Here we are at the end of March in 2026. Can you believe that? And yeah, we can believe it. We can feel it. Yeah, we know what's going on. Yet another full-on week. And here we are talking about a topic that I never imagined I would speak about publicly. I never thought I'd ever actually sort of talk about in such an open forum about talking about spiritual protection, about protection of self, of the whole presence of self. And we're going to chat about this today on every level. All right, full multidimensionalism. We're going into every level of what we're going to talk about today. But let me first lead into why this weird topic is a topic that we're going to go into. In the last couple of weeks, I've had 3 clients that I've had to work on because they've had entity attachments is the way that we describe it. They've had dark things affecting them, dark effects, dark forces, whatever you want to call them, demons, entities, attachments, all of that sort of stuff. Now, this is actually work that I do. And in the last 3 weeks, I've had 3 different people around the world. I've had one in Canada, I've had one in the UK, and I've had one over in New Zealand where they've had quite a serious assault upon them. And around the planet at the moment, this is happening. You're seeing this more and more. Now, this has always happened. Now, let me just backtrack a little bit and talk about. So a couple of weeks ago, and I'm just going to look at notes because I want to make sure I've got this right, all right? Because the one thing you're not going to cop from me is if I don't know, I will tell you that I don't know. And if I can lead you to look up your own search engines and find the right things, I will direct you there, okay? But a couple of weeks ago, about March 13th, a group of the lead exorcists, if you like, in the Catholic Church actually sat with Pope Leo. They actually requested that, so it's the International Association of Exorcists, and they requested a private audience with the Pope to discuss a huge report that they'd put together, presenting that to him, to the Holy Father, with a report on the growing spread of cases, incredible exponential spread of cases, linked to the occlusion, occultism, esotericism, and Satanism, and on the spiritual and pastoral consequences of that. Now, the team actually met with His Holiness, not His Holiness, that's the Dalai Lama, sorry, with the Pope, because they were requesting that a fully trained, highly trained, experienced exorcist be allocated to each Catholic diocese around the world. Big ask. Now, I'm pretty sure as long as the Catholic Church has been in place, there have also been specialised exorcists in there. That's not a new thing. They've always been there. The Catholic Church is a fascinating study in itself, particularly when you look at the history and you go to Vatican City, in fact, and in the highest basilicas around Vatican City and Rome, you'll find all kinds of sculptures of reptiles. Even one of the most famous sculptures there, one of the oldest ones too, is of a reptile absorbing a human. Anyway, reptilian is indeed one of the elements you go into here. But what's fascinating about this is that 48 hours ago, this story, even though it occurred a couple of weeks ago, this story has erupted through general news media. Here in Australia and in various other Western countries, if you like. It's actually come out in the actual news that this meeting occurred, but it's come out in the news because, of course, they're looking to raise more fear. And so, because that's really all the news is. It's not really informative. It's not really what it used to be back in the old days, probably the 60s. But yeah, it's more about actually increasing that fear, which is what dark elements love. That's absolutely the fear of. Now, let's have a look at what's going on the planet. And of course, we are all feeling it. We're all being subject to significant misgovernance, like where so-called governments aren't really looking after us anymore. Like I saw the other day that Australia is kind of this quiet, secret superpower now. And I'm here to tell you our government is as corrupt as anyone else's. You have to see what's going on over here, but it's part of being here. So today we're talking about protection of self and spiritual protection, not nearly as hard as it sounds. You don't need to call in any religion-based, unless of course you belong to that religion and that's how you choose to be spiritual through a human-based structure of religion. All religions, no God created any religion. Religion's a creation of humankind, okay? You can be very, very spiritual and not own religion, okay? But if you choose to be through religion, I respect that too. And absolutely use whatever is in that religion that protects you or helps you out. But there are things you can do for yourself that can help with this too. Now, one of the first things I'm going to recommend in all of this is no, I'm going to get to that. Let me get to that. That's probably the best one. And I'll save that little one. I know. That was mean of me, wasn't it? But in terms of protection, there's lots of things you can do. You don't actually have to be enormously spiritual, if you like. You don't actually have to be super connected. You don't have to meditate 4 times a day. You don't have to pray 12 times a day. You don't have to pay penance with, 670 Hail Marys. Yes, I was actually raised Catholic. I was. But you can actually protect yourself in simple ways. And one of the best ways you can do that is to remember what makes your soul sparkle. I know that sounds way too simple and too, all light and what do they call it? Love and light. But so I am actually a healer. I am a spiritual healer. I work in mysticism. I work in multidimensionalism. And so for me to joke at laugh and light sounds awful. But I think we all know with the exposure of New Age industry, and certainly thanks to Deepak and the various others that come out in their atrocities, that's collapsing beautifully. And I'm glad it is that delusional, self-appointed guru, self-important personal development, so-called leader, I'm glad they're being exposed for the disgrace they are. It's good to see that. That doesn't mean that spirituality and all that goes on, there are still good people out there that do come from a place of integrity. And that's one of the first places you need to come from your integrity. Now, to reclaim that self-integrity is to reclaim that thing that makes your soul sparkle. It is to remember whatever it is that makes a soul sparkle. And it will be one of the very human experiences that makes your soul sparkle. There are little things that I love doing that I'm, here I am in my mid-50s, hormones are doing exciting things, all of that sort of stuff. And I'm being told I've always loved training. My body loves that. I know a lot of bodies don't like that. It's okay. My body loves to go for a run. When I go for a run, it's my favorite meditation. I don't run with other people. I don't like going for a run and chatting to people. This near, but I run on remote tracks, and a couple of times that's been dangerous. I run on remote tracks and I run hard and I sweat and I love it. I play on my run. There was an episode of Friends years ago where Phoebe goes for a run with Rachel, and Rachel's super embarrassed because Phoebe runs like she's crazy when she runs. That's probably me when I go for a run, right? I play, I jump on things, I roll off them, I leap around, I do things, I have fun on my run. Now, I'm not supposed to be doing that. It's not supposed to be good for me, with my hormones and stuff at the moment. And for a while I haven't done it. And oh my God, I've done all these other things. And then the other day I just thought to myself, oh, bugger it. This is what I love. This is what makes my soul sparkle. I love to go and do that. It is one of my favorite meditations is to go on a run like that, where I've got the sweat running down my spine, and I'm having a great time out there, doing what I love. The benefits of that of me coming back so joyful, so happy in myself from having that little bit of fun that's just mine. I'm no one's mum, I'm no one's healer, I'm no one's leader, I'm no one's presenter. You know, it's just my little moment in self. And the joy of that, the accelerant in the vibration of self in that, because of that joy, that is protective. One of the lowest vibrations of existing as a human is emotion. It is also the most essential vibration to master and live with if you're going to succeed at being human. But when that emotional level gets really low, and usually back in the day, like I would tell you, things like people that suffer from addiction, people that are suffering severe ongoing chronic depression, people that are in that constant lower vibrational state of very low emotions of fear and sadness, depression, misery, humiliation, shame, places like that. This is where things that are dark can actually attach to you. That's the only time they can. Now, there will be people out there who tell you that they actually feed off that misery. A lot of these dark forces, a lot of your fourth dimensional dark stuff, like your entities, your demons, things like that. And that's when they can actually connect into the whole presence, the axial presence, the spiritual presence of the self. Okay. So that's where, this is what had happened to these people that I worked on in the past few weeks. Now, this is actually something, it's a session that I do quite regularly, and I have for a long time. It's an ability that I've had all my life, like you have, to be able to deal with these things. I know it's freaked out the team with QBI Healing when I've been in the clinic, and I can actually take an entity, attach it to myself, take it off someone else, put it on me. It can't do me the harm, and it will diminish under my vibration. It can't stay in that light. But I can release it, and I would release it, but I can contain it within the clinic as well. It's not going to escape that space. It's not about walls, it's about vibration, okay? But it used to freak people out. I've stopped doing that to the stuff. But but this is kind of no joking matter. Now, when we're looking at what's going on in the world and the communication that's coming with what's going on in the world and the lies that we're being told and the propaganda we're being fed, and really at this point, it's he said, she said, and who do we believe, right? But we certainly don't believe, a certain person. But something actually occurred in over Tel Aviv a few days ago, where thousands and thousands of crows came in and flew in and were circling. They were circling around. Let me think. What was around? They were over Tel Aviv, and they were circling around the particular tower. The Azrieli towers in Tel Aviv, and they were circling in a remarkable spiral, a true vortex of activity, almost like starlings do, but not the same. It was a spiral. But and everyone's going, oh yeah, it's just migrational. It actually is migrational movement for them, seasonal migration. But animal communication's always been part of being on this planet, and the spiritual message of the animal is never, it goes through history, through tribes, it's everywhere, and learning to understand that is amazing. There's an awful lot in religious structure. It's been used, the crow's been used as a very dark omen. It's actually not the dark omen. If you actually look up the spiritual meaning of the crow, it's not at all a dark omen. But there is historical record of when crows have behaved like this. The crows didn't stay. They actually came into Tel Aviv. They circled around the towers for some time, and then they left. Now, in every civilization, when crows have done this sort of thing, and we're talking like biblical, Roman, Islamic, or, the meaning's pretty consistent in what's happened in those records. When crows have done this, it's a sign of, open your eyes, a sign of danger, if you like. Some of them, and particularly in the Bible, who loves operating from fear and fear first, of course, the departure signals abandonment. I don't know. Of course, at the moment, we know what's going on in the Middle East, right? So we know that war's there. it's become a tool and a performance of communication. We know there's incredible corruption occurring in terms of being this circus and these ridiculous statements being made, shifting from one pole to the other through the day, where they're manipulating financial markets for their own gain. And that's really obvious now, isn't it? But this isn't an accident, it's a system. But nothing's hidden anymore, right? We actually have the footage, we have the reports, we have the numbers. And anyway, the crows don't cause anything, they're communicating, okay? They're not judging, they're not intervening, they're mere witness and significant. If you look into the Quran, a crow appears after the very first murder of a human. Now, most religions, not more recent ones that are just based on money, okay, but most religions in history actually have a lot in common, from 10 Commandments in Christian faith to the various rules of these base religions. They're actually all very, very similar. The basic stuff: thou shalt not kill, honor thy parents, thou shalt not steal, okay, all of that stuff. They've all got the same sort of stuff, and kill's right up there. So the crow's shown up in the Quran. In the Bible, crow tends to show up where the death is too heavy to ignore. Pretty much, that's really generic, but there you go. But in ancient traditions everywhere, right, they mark the moment where a place needs to shift its protection. It needs to maybe upgrade its protection and its awareness of what's going on. The crows coming and doing that a couple of days ago, particularly in the Middle East, and in such a visual that it couldn't be ignored. That was where my decision was made. All right, we do this. We talk about protection of self, okay, of the individual. Because right now, that's all I want you to focus on. I want you to focus on the vibratory health of the whole of you. That is where protection starts for you. We can start talking about little physical elements too. If you've known me for a while, you know I've got history in the military, martial arts, all that sort of stuff, and I can give you some really good basics of just basic awareness. Awareness is the number one in any martial art, in any protective practice, physical practice. Awareness is it. It's where you start, okay? And absolutely be that. Just be a little more vigilant about what's going on. Lift your face up from that phone screen. All right, if you're wherever you are, just be cautious and aware of what's going on. Walk with confidence and look around you as you walk, right? Don't walk along looking at phones. Don't sit in your car looking at your phone. The amount of times, I mean, if you're going to do that, at least have the doors locked. But if you're getting in your car, get in your car, shut the door. Don't sit there and look at your phone. Put your phone down, get moving, off you go. Then if you need to actually check in with what you have to, yes, I know it's legal on your phone when driving. I'm not recommending that, right? Or have it set up before you get in the car. But yeah, don't be in a stationary place that someone else could climb into. So with this, so awareness starts with that, all right? As I said back in talking about going for a run, find what makes your soul sparkle, and who gives a damn if it's not cool, all right? If it's, I don't know, what's uncool? But think of something that's not groovy, all right? Like, if it's not cool, so be it. It's your thing. It makes your soul sparkle. I have a great friend that's in her 50s that still is an amazing ballroom dancer, and watching her sparkle when she does it, this is what brings that joy and that light and that elevation in presence in her. If it's sitting down reading a great novel and that makes the soul sparkle, disappearing into that, hey man, I love that too. It's like, if it's picking out your favorite snacks and sitting down watching telly, yeah, me, yeah, I love doing that. Sitting down in front of a great movie, anything like that. But I'm not recommending being sedentary, but it does sound like it. But at the same time, you've heard me talk about me going for a run. I actually train in some pretty hardcore martial arts. I still do. That actually makes my soul sparkle. I freaking love it. I do. The martial arts that I train in are full contact, full on. It actually, my life insurance policy is quite expensive because of them. But But it's the stuff that does make my soul, it works for me. All right. This is the stuff that we do. Now, when it comes to spiritual protection, there are amazing people around the planet that can help with this. There are some great people that come together as teams from all over the world and do this amazing fourth dimensional work. I've been witness to many of them working in many different ways. I've been invited to come in on some of their what would you call them, missions, that they go out and actually have to do some stuff. There's people that are working on full global scale where they're actually working on planet and recorrecting and trying to bring up blockades and stop dark from coming through, or eradicating them from where they are. And then there's teams that are one-on-one. You've also got like some amazing actual Christian-based exorcists around the world, but a lot of them are just aging out and leaving the planet, dying. And so the request that the team had made of the Pope was a pretty hard one, because you're asking younger people to step into something we've been conditioned in the last couple of different generations to absolutely not think any of that's real. That's all being crapped on, right? But this stuff is, at the moment, with the planet and the despondency we have on the planet, the despair that we're all having, the cost of living going through the roof, everything that's stressing us out, one on top of the other on top of the other, the fact that we feel like we're at the mercy of the billionaires while the governments are their puppets and we're just being affected by it. No one's actually standing up. We can see what's going on, but no one's actually doing anything. Where it's going to take the masses to stand against this. We're going to have to come together in this. But first and foremost, you need to take care of you. And with all of that going on the planet, that's why you have to take care of you. When I've said to you that the lowest vibration, that doesn't mean it's a lesser vibration. Again, you living in emotion is what we came here to do. It's the human experience. But if you want to succeed at being human, it's learning to live with it. No bypassing, no overstepping, no, try not to disassociate if you can. Pretty, at the moment, it feels like we all want to do that, right? But in this too, there are all kinds of small assistance that can help you as well. Things like crystals. In short, crystals do work, all right? The very first crystal, think about the first telecommunication, the radio, right? Let's talk about the radio. They couldn't get the thing to work. The way they got it to work was to put a piece of quartz, a crystal, into the construction, and it was able to communicate. Crystals are communicators. They are. And they do work. And there's crystals that are super protective. If you just need that little bit of tiger's eye, great for your emotions as well, it's going to protect you. Things like, I'm not a specialist, all right, but there are some great ones out there that are specialists in this. But I'm a woman, so I'm going to say stick it in your bra, stick it in your pocket, put it, carry it with you, tuck it in wherever you can, you crystal. Things like onyx and, tourmaline. I have a beautiful piece of Lemurian black jade. There's some great, really protective crystals that if you need to carry that with you to have that assistance of it protecting you. Tiger's Eye's a beauty one. It's a good one to have there. Believe it or not, amethyst, which everyone thinks is all about feeling good and calm and all this, but amethyst can be really protective too. Crystals are a great thing to do. Various rituals that work for you, that elevate your vibration, do it. You're not going to hear me say rituals don't work. I'm going to tell you, if that ritual is where, look, when I make a coffee in the morning, and my parents owned a coffee business, and so I make a fabulous coffee, right? It's got the best creamer you can imagine. It's really great. But there's a routine in how I make my coffee that is like meditation. It's like a ritual that lifts me to a place of peace and joy. And then that first sip, that first sip, we all love that, right? But little things like that, even a very simple manual ritual like that, can actually stabilize your vibration and accelerate it. And so, but rituals also, one of my daughters is an amazing witch. And she just has some beautiful rituals and protective stuff, and very cool stuff. Wherever you live, whatever ritual works for you and that you can do to protect yourself, whether you light the candle or whatever you do, that works too. All of this comes back to, and you'll hear me say this many, many times, it's not about ceremony, it's about state. How you get to that state whatever works for you, what makes your soul sparkle. This is how you're going to protect yourself from these horrible assaults occurring in multi-esoteric, multi-dimensional, ethereal, spiritual levels at the moment, where you're feeling down, things aren't working, things are out of your control, people are going out of control. It's bad on the planet at the moment, and these things are thriving. This sort of work, if you need assistance with it, I'm not advertising because I don't need to, but there are some really great people that can assist you in actually eradicating and getting rid of these things from your life. And I cannot speak highly enough of the teams that are out there working on a global scale too. As I said, I've been lucky enough to witness it for many, many years, and to be part of it as well. But whatever it takes, whatever the ritual that you have. In QB, we have a very simple process that we do, which frankly, honestly, I can't teach you to do this quickly. So I'm not going to teach you as your mini-med. Your mini-med today is that I want you to sit down and think about and return to whatever little practice makes your heart smile, makes that soul sparkle. Because that's going to be the first and foremost defense you have against. These things can't attach. These things can't assault you when you're in that high vibratory state. It's not easy to stay there, though. We've got this constant onslaught. We've got everything trying to say to us, it's time to lift your game. Okay. And so even the animal spirit, that's what the crows did. Look up the footage. It's incredibly beautiful. I love crows. But yeah, look for the signs that are assuring you as well. Little things. The animal spirit. If butterflies out of nowhere. I had a dragonfly the other day when I was on my run. Nearly swallowed him. He was so busy trying to get in front of my face while I was running. It's like, oh God, dude, I nearly copped him in the mouth. But I got home. That's right. I've got to look up the dragonfly because the dragonfly was talking to me on this. Animal spirit that's unexpected, where you see something or a feather's been left on the ground wherever you are, that's an unusual thing. Little signs that are there. Even look for the numbers, as you're driving to work and you see 333 or you see 1111 or you see, 666. 666 is not evil. 666 is the balance of life. Yeah, don't fall for the crap that we've been told that 666 is Satan. Satan's not Satan. Don't even worry about it. We're not going into that. But 666 is about mind, body, spirit, self. It is about reclaiming. If you see 666, it's a call for you to find that balance again. Some element of that, the mind, the body, the spirit, something might need you to check it if you're seeing 666, okay? It is about spirit. It's not about dark spirits. But 222, the machinations are in play for you. The universe has heard you and things are coming your way. Look for those signs out there in neurology and all that thing, and assure yourself that, yeah, you can do this. Keep your vibration high. You hear me say it all the time. Stay attuned to source however you see source. That's SOURCE, not sources in tomato. Okay. So tuned to where creation comes from. I'll finish on this, that when I meet a new client comes in and they want to have a session with me, we do a discovery session. And the only people that ever ask me about the source of this extraordinary gift that I have, this amazing flow of information, of light that comes through me, the only people that ever really ask me where the source of this comes from, they'll say to me, do you work through any particular entity, any particular realm, any particular, where does this gift come from? Because a lot of people do, angel healing, or they work through Pleiadians, or they work through Lemurians, or they work through, they come from a specific special place that they do their healing from. Mine comes from source. Mine comes from creation. I'm just a conduit. That's all I am. It is a flow through that they can engage from the place that they came from source. And the only people ever ask me that are people that are Muslim. Everyone should ask me that. Particularly at this time, if you have someone that you've called in, a healer, an exorcist, someone to assist you with the dark that's assaulting at the moment, ask them that question. Ask where their gift is coming from, where they're actually tuned into it. Okay, if they're coming from a particular restrictive source or a particular, I use Archangel Michael, or just a particular entity that they claim to use, then maybe look a little further. Okay. Look for someone that's coming from as a conduit rather than as the healer, because you've always been a healer of self. Anyone else that comes in to assist you in your healing, they're a conduit of another specialty to assist you in healing yourself. And so if someone comes in telling you that they're the ones that can do this for you, they are the conduit that will assist you in actually recovering. And so please make sure and take care that there's just a huge amount of charlatans lifting their head in the collapse of the whole New Age thing. There's a lot of charlatans lifting their head. There's a lot of people that haven't been named yet that are flogging their workshops and flogging their, that's, yeah. Look for integrity and look for truth. Okay. I love you heaps. If you need my help, absolutely call out to us and we'll help you too. But let that soul sparkle, keep your vibration high in every way that brings you that joy. Okay. The dark won't take you. You've got this. I'll see you next time.